the Google know how to write my name. Let's see.
Styczyńska.
Yeah, you can learn from Google Translate. Let's start. Today's game is the first Hulic Cup Seirei tournament, 7th round, and our players will be Kai Tomomi ladies 5 down versus Wakita Nanako ladies 1Q. Both of them had 5 wins, 1 loss, and this is their last chance to come to the main tournament, best 4 of the Hulic tournament. And the game was played on June 4th from 10 o'clock Tokyo Shogi Hall. Time for the game was 2 hours chess clock and 1 minute Byoyomi. Furigoma by 4 pawns decided that Kai-san was sente. By the way, if Wakita-san would win this game, she would get promoted to 1 dan. And she became professional recently, 2Q in 2018 and 1Q in 2019. While Kai-san is famous veteran, also a former title holder. So we have kind of freshman versus veteran fight today. And this is their first game playing against each other. This is how it looked when they were setting up the pieces. Kai-san, Wakita-san, setting up the pieces on the bottom picture and preparing mentally on the top one. And here was the board after 2 moves being played. And here is the moment they were doing the Furigoma. Kai-san is actually famous for playing both Furibisha and Ibisha. She played mostly Inbisha in this tournament, but this time she chose, as we will see, as we will think, Central Rook. So after a few moves, Sente took the Vanguard pawn on 5-5 square, and unusually the silver was moved before the rook. And I actually checked, there were only like 2 or 3 games with this kind of decision, and even more after gold move, she moved the silver once more. There was only 1 game before this game that was played like this. You would think it's the Gokigen Nakabisha, but after 4-4 pawn, 4-6 pawn, which is also super unusual, you see that Kai-san decided on pausing rook. So it's very unusual opening from Kai-san. This pawn is very quickly played, the silver itself is quickly played. I would say that this pawn is quite dangerous because you wanna castle the king here and this pawn is usually the last one to be played. But Kai-san decided to play this kind of opening. When I saw it, I was kind of surprised. I never saw this shaped, and indeed in database there was one similar game but not exactly the same shape. What you can see is that Gote still have the option for left side Mino, castle like this, or Anaguma, but according to the flow of the game it will be probably Anaguma. In that case opposing rook will be a nice way to counter it. So here Wakita-san pushed the pawn to develop the silver and both sides decide to castle the kings. And here Sente decided to play Minogakoi. She could have maybe played Anaguma, but this silver and the balance of the position, I'm not sure if that would be good. While Gote still having option for the left side Mino, she decided to play Anaguma instead. Here there is the option, and usually Sente would prefer for the gold to be on this side closer to the king, but this indicates to us that Kai-san goes for full-fledged attack, in future allowing her to exchange the rooks and preventing some rook drops in her camp. If the gold would be here, there could be some rook drops over here, but actually gold being here protects everything, as we will see later. So Gote wants to make a stiff shape, so she moves the lens up. Sente of course goes for the edge, Anaguma castle is happening, and this is actually the perfect moment for Sente to attack before this silver is up, before this silver is in better position. This is the best timing for attack. So naturally the only move is to take, and here if you're a Ibisha player you don't wanna take this rook. You can see that this bishop is not clear, it's not well utilized, it's not attacking any piece, but you can also see that Sente has no nice rook drop. This kind of rook just defend and then the silver is hanging, right? And if you drop the rook here, saying, haha, I will take your knight, well, there is this Tetsuji skillful move that protects the rook and next allows the promotion, right? Protects the knight, yeah. So, as you see in both of the variation, it's good for Sente. Therefore, the only move is to drop the pawn, the rook goes back, natural development, silver goes up. And this is an unusual move, but usually very good for Furibisha. Next, the target is to drop the pawn to 8-4, take the 8-5 pawn, and go for the pawn promotion, making the rook unstoppable on 8-5. I'm not sure if there is English word for that, but it's like counter-attack on this file that Ibisha had advantage, but actually it's being countered. And this is because this piece and later knight will oppose this single rook. This is why it's possible. Yeah, the vanguard pawn here, this position is good for Sente indeed, yeah. And then also she has this attack, but the problem is, look, she has 2 defensive pieces versus 1, 2, 3, plus the king is 1 square further. So even if Sente has little advantage on the left side, got a mate advantage on the right side. It's like something for something, right? The general pattern for the opposing rook is in the time that Sente will counter on this file, they gotta wanna move the pieces somewhere else. So like counter here, or activate this bishop somehow. So this is the timing. So actually everything will be decided few moves from now on. What Wakita-san did was to counter on 5-4 square pawn push. Because you see this silver and this bishop, there is no rook, right? So they are kind of floating. Maybe that's the way to attack. I was also thinking, because natural development would be to push this pawn, drop the pawn, and because this pawn is taken, maybe you can develop the knight. But actually after the knight, when it's taken here, Sente would have an attack. I was wondering if maybe Gote can make some kind of attack here. Yeah, this line also means that the king will be open, so maybe this is what she didn't like. And this variation also means that she's forced to defend right on this square and give some moves for Sente to attack, so maybe she wanted to move beforehand and she pushed this pawn over here. Okay, so naturally Kai-san took it, silver retake it. Here Kai-san jumped with the knight. So the usual way of thinking about the Furibisha whenever it's advantages or not is you look at the older pieces, but the most you wanna see, did this knight sabaki? And if this knight sabaki, then it means that usually Furibisha is a little bit better. And this is what Kai-san wanted to do, allow this knight to sabaki in one way or another. Because the next move, this rook will go to attack, Gote needs to do something, and Wakita-san decided to push 6-5 pawn. And you could take it, the knight would jump. But here it's the move of Gote, right? So Kai-san made a pretty interesting move. Before taking that pawn, she moved the bishop to 7-5 square, making a pressure on the Anaguma. And as you can see, this bishop cannot be attacked easily. If you do this, it attacks the rook, right? So it's pretty good move to activate the bishop. After which Gote dropped the 5-5 pawn. What she decided was to move aggressively to 6-5 square. She just took it, and here, as you can see, Furibisha's knight got sabaki, next threatening to promote on 5-3 square, to which they push the 5-6 pawn, threatening a tokin, knight promotion, gold takes bishop promotion, and here she got the tokin. So even though Gote lost the gold for the knight, she got the tokin, which should be quite equal exchange. And there was a comment, if this gold would be on this square, preventing this token, it would be obvious clear win for Sente, but the gold isn't there, so it's actually still an equal fight. So here next, what is Gote threatening is to drop this silver. Kai-san defended it by 5-8 pawn, and as you can see, the token cannot go nowhere apart from back, and here Sente has another move to attack. So there was also one variation without moving back. What if you attack? The token is taken. And here, even though the Sente's defense is down to 1 piece, well, there's no attacking pieces from Gote, so Sente can feel confident, right? It's relatively safe. So the token went back, and Sente attacked one more move. So as I said before, there were 3 pieces versus 2. Suddenly there is 2 pieces versus 2 pieces, and Sente is attacking. So we would think that Sente might be a little bit better, although it's still difficult. A variation was proposed was to take it, drop here, and maybe attack the token like this. But Wakita-san decided instead of taking pieces, it's better to drop a piece. Kai-san took the gold. Of course, if you take the horse, it's a clear win for Sente because Gote cannot defend the drop here next. If you are a beginner and you have problem with destroying the Anaguma, the basic rule you wanna look is that there is the proverb, without the gold there is no defense. So here this silver drop pictures that proverb by attacking the gold. And after those 2 moves you see that, well, Gote has no gold, and same in this variation with taking the horse. The pieces in Gote's hand is only the bishop, so there is practically no way to defend. So let's just remember this proverb. So took the gold, silver retakes, and here Tetsuji of 8-3 pawn. If the rook would took it, the variation they were talking about was this, so attacking the silver, I don't know, defending somehow, and then forking those 2 pieces, right? And if the token is off the board, again, Gote will have no attack. Of course, if the rook goes to the side, this is a fork. So what Wakita-san did was take the horse, and the rook was taken. The meaning of this move is you wanna correct the hanging piece, and here Kai-san put some pressure with this heavy looking gold. She moved the silver back, very light way of defending, and here 6-1 rook, and here again Anaguma has 3 pieces. So Shogi is this kind of game. You can take the pieces, but you can also return them to the board, and you would think that Gote's already helpless, she has no pieces in defense, but actually no. By using those skillful retreating moves and drop move at the end, she has all defenses up again. Even saying so, Sente have actually 2 attacking pieces, and she continued attacking with another heavy gold drop. This time she threatens to take 2 pieces for 1, where silver can take it, and she does, using the gold in defense. In this kind of position you could keep attacking, but we talked many videos before, if you have advantage you should calm the position down, and in this case Sente takes the knight, allowing her actually piece advantage. So let's count. Sente has 1 gold, 2nd gold, 3 gold, and 2 silvers. So 5 generals versus 3 generals, 1 general advantage, but this general is a little bit far from the board, from the defense, so maybe it's not so clear, but I think that picking the knight up and raising your chances for attack was very important in this position. So don't go for the attack, keep exchanging pieces now, it would allow Gote to attack maybe here. Just calm down and take the knight. So what she's threatening next is to drop the knight here, but here Wakita-san counters with this nice bishop defense, attacking the dragon move, while attacking the king's head. Pretty cool attacking defensive move, after which Kai-san takes 1 more piece. The meaning of this move is again taking the rook, and in future promoting the pawn. Very good move with few meanings, 2 birds with 1 stone again. After which Kai-san decided to attack this critical point. So yeah, so the weakness of Anaguma, this is the edge, but Gote's attack would be slow. The other one is the side, so here, which is attacked, but it's not enough. So she attacks another critical point, which is the 3-3 square. And this is a nice lesson for us. Don't just go for 1 critical square. If you go for 2 critical squares, all the pieces will be it will break them apart. So the bishop escapes, taking the rook, the gold retakes, using the token. Next she threatens the promotion, finally showing some attacking. horses. There were two comments here. Problem was that yes, Sente can defend, but this knight jump, knight drop, threatening this later with the rook drop kind of allows Gote for a good attack, while Gote still have freebies Anaguma, so it might be not as comfortable. So what Kai-san decided is to allow this pawn promotion and attack quicker. Oh yeah, so there was also other variation they proposed, like ignoring it with 4-4 bishop, which looked very severe. But the pawn promotion, taking the silver, gold takes, rook takes, you cannot retake it because of the bishop. But then is the check, gold takes, maybe bishop can promote, and here rook drop is a check, and as you can see this bishop would be taken with the check, so maybe that would be a big fight, but it is difficult, yeah. So Kai-san didn't choose the bishop drop, she chose the free lance. The problem with this lance is that they were saying next what she is threatening is to take the, so for example promote the pawn. Taking the gold is actually not at Sumero, therefore taking this, dropping for 6 knight, it's quite a good attack, but maybe after this one move escape, maybe it's not easy fight yet. So it will be very close endgame in that case. What actually happened was Wakita-san took the lance, took the knight, and because whichever piece you take it with, the gold will take the 5-1 silver for free. So here is the last chance for Anaguma to counter. Wakita-san dropped the lance, attacking the weak point, but Kai-san decided, well, it's not at Sumero, so I can take your silver. Again, this time, if Gote would take one of those pieces, this would be immediate checkmate. Like this, or like this. So that would be immediate checkmate. So she cannot take the gold, while yeah, she doesn't have a, I guess this wouldn't be a checkmate. Anyway, Kai-san decided she's safe, and she took the gold, after which Wakita-san took the promoted knight, making the attack more severe. But here, can you guess the next move, guys? Can you see the next move? It will be attacking defending move. Okay, but yeah, dropping the bishop is a key point here. What she did was 3-6 bishop. As you see, it defends the lance promotion while attacking the bishop, making Sente win very safely here. So the bishop escapes to 4-3, and Abigail noticed the same way of attacking. This time Kai-san drops the silver on 3-2, attacking the bishop and definitely attacking this square. And in this position, Wakita-san resigned. The winning moves from now on were, if gold takes it, there's one move checkmate. If bishop takes it, gold takes it, let's say knight drop, then you take the silver, king takes it, bishop drop, which is checkmate, for example, like this. For example, post-game discussion. The first comment was move 17. The meaning of this move is that Gote pushed the 8-5 pawn early, so this is kind of Kai-san's idea to counter on that square early, but she didn't decide on this kind of strategy beforehand. In that moment, she decided to counter it this way. The next comment was move 45, silver going up. Here Kai-san was thinking maybe it was better to move it back, but in the end she chose the more forceful move. Well, it turned out well. Then move 64, silver going to 3-1. Here they were commenting on silver drop to 3-1, after which rook drop to 6-2, pawn for 5, taking the knight, and bishop drop for 4, attack both of the rooks at the same time. knight drop to 2-5, 6 to bishop, knight taking the bishop, silver retakes from the right, and taking the bishop, 4-6 pawn, and defending this file. And this was, according to players, Sente looked playable. And indeed, Gote's pieces is only the rook and 2 knights. Talking looks a little bit scary. For now, situation looks stable. In the future, the rook can join the attack, but still not so clear, but maybe Sente has confidence. Next was move 72. Instead of bishop drop, they were commenting on 4-5 pawn. Knight drop as before. Gold takes, 3-1 gold, silver takes, rook take, dragon takes, and bishop drop to 6-4, attacking the dragon, after which you don't want to escape, you drop the silver, making the pressure. Taking the dragon means you promote the silver, gold drop, and silver drop is one example for Sente's good attack. And move 76. Kai-san was actually a little bit afraid of the 2-4 bishop instead, after which 4-4 silver to put a pressure on this square is answered with 4-6 bishop, which showing some ways of sudden death, starting with the knight drop. But of course, Gote doesn't have the pieces yet, but it makes Sente situation more difficult to continue, right? If she gives too much pieces, this would mean sudden death, so Kai-san was a little bit afraid of this variation, but Wakita-san thought that without the rook she had actually no chances for the attack, and this is why she took it here. And the last comment, move 79. The lance drop was the moment that Kai-san thought that she was winning the game, and so we can assume she had confidence after this move. Was how it looked. They were discussing, Kai-san, Wakita-san, the whole general view, and this is the one of the variation with the 3 silvers, right, with taking the bishop variation. And finally we have interview with Kai-san here. They asked her what did you think about this game. She thought that her pieces did sabaki, so the variation she went for was ideal for her. The king was little bit thin and the token was in the middle of the board, so it looked like there's a proverb actually, if the token is like on 5-3 square, it's a clear win from one side, but actually it maybe wasn't so in this case. They asked her about what about the opening choice. She said that she was inspired by the fact that Gote pushed the 8-file pawn before Sente decided on the rook position. Therefore she felt there was a chance to counter as an opposing rook. And when did you felt you won? After the 3-3 lance. Actually, she had many strong opponents in the eliminations, and she felt that she has to win many of the games, and she laughed. She actually fought against Satomi-san and Ito-san. She won against them, so she thought if she won against such a strong player, she has to show her fighting spirit until the end. First time in a long time when she go up this high in the tournament, and she thought she played well. So how did you like the game, guys? We were all rooting for Sente. Sente won. I guess we are happy from that. Was there any move that surprised you? What I learned from this game is that the timing is important. So for example, deciding this pawn means that Sente has one more option to move to the opposing rook quickly, and it might be a nice way to fight Anaguma. Of course, the minus is that your position is a little bit more thin, but with careful planning in the middle game, it's playable for Sente. I'm not sure if Gote played actually the best counter with the 5-5 pawn, but in the end there were some tricky variations, especially because the token was on 5-7 square, but with careful play of Sente, it turned out to be good. I really like this gold drop. The previous variation was not clear, right, with the silver drop to here. It still wasn't so clear for me. But I didn't know that there is this kind of tricky move to attack Anaguma. Also calming down, taking the pieces is something we keep on learning in previous games too. And here I guess what we learned this time is attack 2 critical points at the same time to get the best result, right? And then, if you are winner, carefully defend so that you don't make a mistake in the end game, was what I learned. Yeah, so there are actually 2 professionals other than me starting a YouTube channel. Unfortunately, they both are in Japanese. So you have Ito Shingo Sensei and you have ladies professional Kagawa Manao, and you have my English channel. So more and more professionals are being active in the internet. Thank you guys for coming. Please comment on YouTube videos if you get any cool ideas for videos you would like to watch. And hopefully see you next week.